The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to the raw and uncensored Ambitchious podcast. I'm your host, the original HBIC, Katie Boyd. During our time here together, I will be instilling all of the strength, power, and determination you will need to use the very stones thrown at you to build your ultimate empire. We will redefine the word bitch from the derogatory to the acronym being in total control of herself. So let's adjust our crowns and prepare to live life ambitiously. Oh yeah, here I am, the original HBIC Katie motherfucking Boyd. And over here is my ride or die homie, my husband extraordinaire, Matthew Martin Babine.
Oh, well, thank you very much for having me.
You sound like, what do you mean thank you very much for having me? This
I
has been
know.
like almost a year. It's like every week. It's like, thanks for having me. It's like, here he is again.
Bitches one. I'm just afraid you may tell me to go away one of these days. I just thank you.
That could be
Thank you.
happening.
Thank you, Katie.
That could be happening. You better scrub my toilets when you get
Oh,
home.
God. I am a good scrubber.
That's a lie. I've never
Yes.
seen you scrub anything except
Well,
your bunghole.
Yeah, well, I have to scrub that. Keep it nice and clean.
God,
Yes.
please.
Ay.
So I'm so excited for today's installment of the Ambitchious podcast because I recently spoke at our first ever Business with Soul Summit in Burlington, Massachusetts, and people came from all over the country to experience what I had to offer.
Yep.
And it's so funny because after I didn't know how much it was going to change people's lives and wake them up spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and in a business sense.
It was awesome.
Because,
Absolutely awesome.
you know, business with no soul has really no substance.
Right.
So everyone is like thinking about these get rich quick schemes and all these different ways to manipulate people. And I'm like, dude, you're coming at it at the wrong way. So after the Business with Soul Summit, I had hundreds of messages from all of these incredible people asking me questions that maybe they didn't feel comfortable asking when they were there in
Yep.
front of everyone, because
Sure.
sometimes things are personal. And then I think a lot of people had to take a couple days to process what actually happened, and then they reached out to me. So I promised everyone that I would answer all of their questions on the Ambitchious podcast. So that is why
That's
the
awesome.
Ambitchious podcast today is cleverly entitled Business with Soul. So we are actual professionals about bringing soul to our business.
Absolutely.
And high vibrational frequency, and really coming from a place of service before you ask for a sale.
Yes.
And a lot of people aren't about that life. They're like, sell, ask.
Yes.
Maybe serve a little bit after they get you to sign on the dotted line. And that's just totally not who Matt Babine and I are.
That's the opposite.
Yeah,
Opposite.
totally. So before we get into that, I want to do a couple of things. I don't want to waste anyone's time because honestly, we have such an incredible show for you guys today. So the first thing I want to do is I want to read our iTunes review of the week. iTunes reviews are so integral to the health of the Ambitchious podcast and really, truly creating a real movement, because that's why I'm here. I mean, you know that my intentions are pure with that kind of stuff. I really want to help people from all over the globe live life ambitiously, to know that they follow the steps and the tools that I give them, that they really will have this incredible, magical life. So I always love to give some props and some shout outs to people who take the time out of their busy lives to get on iTunes, leave us a 5-star review, and also a beautiful written review. It means the world to me. So this is from Nicoletta76, and she says, I love her, double exclamation point with 5 stars. And it's a short one, but it's really kind of sexual. I like
That's
it.
awesome.
She says, I can't believe this. It's like my brain is talking. The validation is the climax. Thank you, Nicoletta76. Reach out to me
Nicoletta.
at themisfitclub@gmail.com to redeem your $100 gift certificate to use towards anything KBMFC related. And really thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for anyone who has already gone on and given us 5-star and written reviews on iTunes. And for those lazy bastards that haven't yet, what the hell are you waiting for?
Get the hell over there.
Don't you
Give
get
us a review.
so much value from the Ambitchious podcast? This is how we keep this podcast going. So please get over there. We don't do any, sales really. We always tell what's going on.
Absolutely.
But we don't ask you guys to whip out your credit cards during this podcast.
But if you want to, you can give me yours. We'll see some Neiman Marcus's charges on
little
there.
Chanel. Matt's is going to be at the amazing video store. We all know what that is.
What video store?
The dildo store.
Oh, get the heck out of here. I would never be in there.
Oh, well, that's not all the charges that I've been seeing reoccurring monthly on your
Go back to
on your
topic.
Discover card. So to bring you guys up to speed with everything that's going on KBMFC, head over to www.kbmfc.com. Head over to the events page. Every month, our events at KBMFC are changing from going on world retreats to having business with soul summits to sound healings to masterminds to virtual coaching, you name it. We are doing it. Get over there to the events page. If you truly want to work with me, there's always ways to do it. I think what happens is people see you on a podcast and they think that you're like, I don't want to say I'm a celebrity, even though I am a star. But they see you they're like, okay, she's this podcaster. She's doing all this stuff. She probably doesn't work with people. I do.
That's our job.
That's what I do. Every day I wake up to
Yeah.
serve, and so does Matt Babine. And so head on over to the events page. And if you really want to be on the inside track, go over to kbmsc.com and sign up for our weekly newsletter. Every Tuesday, the same day as the Ambitchious podcast drops, I send out an inspirational handwritten email. It's not a bunch of catchy copyright like most people in this industry. It's really, truly coming from my experiences and from my soul.
That's awesome.
So head on over there, subscribe to the KBMFC weekly newsletter, and you will get to see everything that's going on KBMFC, as along with every week I add a really delicious ketogenic recipe.
Oof.
And I take really sexual pictures. Last week, I think it was some good-ass shrimp and some watermelon feta salad.
Awesome.
It was awesome. So
Making me hungry.
head on over. So without further ado, I am going to jump right into this Business with Soul Summit. So really quickly, the Business with Soul Summit started actually at Kripalu. So one of my clients and my masterminders, Christine Keegan, she attended Kripalu back in January 2019. And she said to me, she goes, wow, he should do this for my team. And she's part of a network marketing company called Viseo. And I said I would absolutely love to. So we really worked so diligently on this with her partner, her business partner, Melissa Marie Duty, who's an amazing human. And we headed on over to the Burlington Marriott in Burlington, Massachusetts, and it was a full day extravaganza. So we started the Business with Soul Summit with this incredible sound healing. People had the most outrageous experiences.
Massive breakthroughs.
Yeah. And then we did 4 hours of really deep spiritual soul work. So really deep business with soul, how to attract the right people into your company. We talk about this all the time. How to repel the people from your company that isn't helping your business go to the next level, and it's not following the trajectory of where your business is going.
Absolutely.
And really how to entertain and how to empower and how to inspire and how to educate your ideal clients. Because I think what happens is we get so hung up on sales.
Right.
And we don't get hung up on service. And Matt Babine, talks to me about this all the time. It's like, give more than you promise.
150. If you promise 100, deliver 150%. And, they were so smart to have you go there because, most people think it's, like you said, about the numbers and, we got to kill these numbers and we got to sell and we got to do all these things. Those women were brilliant to have you go in there and kind of change everything, the whole philosophy of, hey, something. I think they were onto this already. This is just bringing it to the next level of really thinking about how can they really serve their customers and really be able to develop business that way.
And get their team on the right mindset.
Yes.
Because what happens is we get in these teams, right? And everyone starts kibitzing and people can get gossipy and bitchy and territorial
and competitive, right?
And competitive.
And you should, not the competition. The more you create, that's what's going to make your company great, opposed to, oh, I got to compete with this one and I got to compete with that one.
Yes.
And I think they get it. Although a little competition is awesome.
Oh, friendly,
but
very.
I think you can get kind of caught up in that
Agreed.
too much, right? What, taking that, I think you mentioned in the summit, if you're taking your eye off the ball, if you're running and you look back to see where your competition is, you could have just taken a step forward.
Absolutely.
You could have taken that next
110%.
stride, Yeah.
So we did, I'm going to go into this on another podcast about business because I am incredible when it comes to business, and it's taken me a really long time to get there. And everything I learned was definitely 100% through trial by fire. So I don't want to take up too much time because I really want to answer these questions from these amazing people. And then what we did was we did mortality meditation. And mortality meditation is really this meditation where I walk you through your last day on earth. Like 12 hours from now, you're going to die. Like, just sit with that for a second.
So
I know it's
right?
Like, marinate in that because we don't know when we're going to go. We don't know what our life contract says, right? And we think we have all this time, and we're just constantly focusing on things that don't really push the needle forward or really isn't helping you just take your company and your life and your relationships and your joy to the next level. So I walked them through that, and a lot of people were just like bawling their eyes out, which I've done death meditation in the years before and with my shaman, and that's just like so eye-opening to me. It changed really the whole trajectory of your life, my life, and you've also done it with me as well.
And it just shows you what's important.
Yeah.
Where am I spending my time? I'm not going to be here forever.
Yes.
Why am I going to waste my time? I'm conscious. I'm awake.
And what you want your legacy to be.
Yes.
Like when you leave this earth, like what do you want people to say about you and what do you want to leave behind?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. And everyone should be doing that.
100%. So after that, we ended up going to this beautiful dinner with the top 5 earners of the company. It was a dinner that was purchased by us, and it was a little thank you to the top 5 earners of this company, and they got to pick our brains and really mastermind. And
great people, by
Holly,
the way. I had a blast.
Oh my gosh, it was so fun.
Blast.
And Holly, who's one of the top people in the company, she came all the way from Oklahoma, and we just had the best conversation. And she's just so sweet. She's like the antithesis of me. So she's like my angel and I'm like the devil because she's just like God-fearing and she's so sweet and she calls things darling. Like she was saying the other day, she's like, oh, that is just darling. And I was like, God, I could talk to you for hours because you're just so sweet and mild-mannered.
Absolutely.
But she said to me, she goes, Katie, you said things to this team today that I would love to say, but I just can't say it that way. Just not in my genre.
It's not her style.
Right. We all have our own style of business.
Yeah.
I'm more in your face, like headbutt you, because I think that people need to wake up.
Yes.
And then what we did was we came back from dinner and we had a vodka-fueled vision boarding session that lasted till midnight.
That was my favorite part.
And then we ended up having a dance party after. It was just so awesome. So that's what Business with Soul Summit was. And the next couple days, I've just had this like outpouring of questions. So I just wanted to get you guys up to speed because you're like, what the hell is this Business with Soul Summit thing? What is this craziness? But this is what it was. So I'm going to read the name of the person who asked the question. If I butcher your name, I am so sorry. I think everyone's name is pretty easy to say, but
you're actually really good. Thank God I'm not reading.
No, I got reamed last week because I said someone's name and she was like, girl, you know my name? And I was like, no, I don't. I don't know your married name. I only know your maiden name. It's terrible. Okay. Are you ready, Matt Babe?
I am ready.
Get your thinking cap on and your big boy panties.
It is on.
Put on your underoos.
I am ready.
So Raina Kessel, who I got to spend tons of time with on that Saturday, she is a joy. We got into it at the bar. This is where the magic happened.
The magic of business is at the bar.
She said to me, we were talking about operating from a place of love or fear, and I didn't really get to go as deep as I wanted to. So this is what she said to me. Hey, Katie, at the vision boarding sesh, you said that there are really 2 truths in life, love and fear. Could you elaborate a little more on that and guide us on how to recognize when we are operating from a place of fear and how we can shift that energy to operate from love? And she also said, P.S. You are a queen woman. Absolutely such a pleasure and an honor to meet you. See you in Portugal. Yes.
That's awesome.
That's exciting.
That's fantastic.
So what do you think about that? You knew where I was coming from,
right?
Oh,
absolutely. Yeah. There really are only 2 things, love and fear. Everything else is a subset, right? So if you're not aligned with what you're doing and you feel emotions of, fear itself, or I'm not happy doing this, or I have resentment, or I don't like this person. Jealousy, all these different negative emotions. When you're in that path, you're not online, right? If it's coming from, and that's when you have to really say, okay, who am I? Take a step back from those emotions after they bubble up and they go, and you want to actually say, who am I, and what do I look like in my highest self?
Yes.
What do I look like? How do I stand? Who am I? What am I doing? What am I working on?
I love this.
Am I passionate about these things? And you touched a lot about it, about core desired feelings, right?
Yes.
How you want to feel.
Yes.
Well, you can take it to the next level and say, what is my unbelievable self, and
Right.
what am I doing? What am I saying? Who am I with? And that way you can take it and shift it. And you're like, and if you have people say, well, I don't really have fear. Well, if you peel the onion, jealousy is fear. That you're not enough.
Resentment
you're not
is
good
fear.
enough. You can't trust somebody.
Yes. Anxiety is fear.
Anxiety and stress is fear.
Yes.
So if you peel the onion, and no, it's like business people have come up with the word, I'm stressed. I'm stressed. But because you can't run around and go, I'm afraid.
Yes.
I'm really scared. I'm shitting my drawers.
Right. So when people say I'm stressed out, it actually means I am shitting my pants with fear right now.
I'm afraid.
Because I'm afraid of failing.
I'm not enough.
Dropping the ball.
I won't hit my numbers.
Yes.
Whatever it is, right?
Yes.
And you need to shift that and step back and say, hey, I need to really redirect my mind. How am I going to redirect my mind? Who do I want to be? Be that in your mind and start working and focusing on that.
I love
and let the fear friggin' fall away.
This is why you're here, Matt Babine, because I probably would not have answered the question like this, but you just brought up such an amazing point where, we did go really deep at Business with Soul Summit about core desired feelings, but there's always evolution from that.
Yes.
And truthfully, I always operate as much as I can from love.
Yeah.
And I always try to think about who my highest self is. We talk about this all the time, you and I.
Yes.
Like, what does my highest self look like? What does she eat? How does she approach people? How does she posture herself in a business setting? What does her home look like? What kind of car does she drive? Like, does she work out? Does she do yoga? Like all these, I know this is like so random, but I truly want to always operate from the highest level I can.
And it's something that we need to take time and do.
Absolutely.
But a really good question is every day, if you're going through a problem and you're in a fearful state or you're having a challenging time, is how would my highest self act right now?
Right.
How would my highest self act right now?
Would my highest self be stressed? Would they have anxiety? Would they have resentment? Would they have jealousy? Would they have all these things? Absolutely not.
Not. So then you shift it, and you can shift it immediately, opposed to be like, I got to work on my highest self. This is going to take me a year.
Yeah.
No, ask the question. I don't feel good right now. How do I make myself feel better? And how would my highest self act
and
right
handle
now
these
and handle
things.
this problem in front of me?
Raina, I hope that we answered your question. It really meant the world to me that you reached out to me because that was such a great question. I know that answer is going to help so many people.
That's awesome.
Don Priest. We love Don.
Oh, Don. I know you.
Don has a son. His name is Dylan.
I know his son even better.
He's amazing. He has a show called The Dylan Show, and he interviews people every week. And Dawn is just honestly the best mom and such a great woman. And she asked this question. She said, girl, you are amazing, and I'm so grateful to have had the opportunity to be there with you. I would say, this is my question. Why is it so important to face the things that we have pushed down inside of us and how they can hold us back from reaching our full potential? So she said, I had crazy things come into my mind during sound healing, and I can't reconcile the fact that these things are anchoring me down as I'm trying to push forward. And maybe some options for healing and moving forward for those of us who aren't interested in seeing a therapist, which, you know, people will say like, oh, if you're having a hard time struggling mentally, go see a therapist. And I have seen therapists in the past, and maybe it's because I'm an egoic bitch, but I would sit there when I was with my therapist and I'd be like, oh my God, I have more credentials than this guy and this is what he's going to say. And I would like judge it instead of letting the healing take place. And that's why for me, healing is on a spiritual level. So I see my shaman, I see my Reiki master, I meditate every day, I journal, I do a bunch of different healing modalities. So I think that number one, to answer that question is meditation.
Yes.
seeing someone who's a healer.
Yes.
You know, you can always come to me. We're really close to each other. I do Reiki healing. Get a life coach.
Yep.
Get a mentor. Get someone who's going to walk you through your struggles
Yeah.
that have already been through it. Because there's a lot of coaches out there, and there's a lot of mentors and healers that they talk a good game, but they've never really walked the fire.
Yes.
So I'm here to tell you that Matt and I have both walked the fire.
There's many fires.
Too many fires to name. So
I should be a fire marshal.
Right? Fire Marshal Bill. So find someone that's a healer that can help you, a life coach, a mentor, a motivator, someone like that. I think that for me, that's helped me immensely. So that's, I guess, and you would agree with that.
And it's a great thing she mentioned, that these things are coming up. And she's like, why, they're coming up for a reason. They're coming up to heal. And that's the main thing. So, Dawn, that's fantastic because so many people, men and women, especially, in our age group, have been just told, oh, just, have a stiff upper lip and carry on and don't worry about it. And you just push this down. And Katie and I always talk about this, you keep pushing things down and not deal with them, it creates disease, right?
Yes.
Remember, disease is dis-ease.
Absolutely.
Dis-ease within the body, right? Because your body's not at ease, so it's an opportunity to get sick. So kudos to you for looking and feeling these emotions that are coming up. And, she necessarily doesn't want to go to a therapist, but some people need a therapist.
Right.
So I don't want to
I'm not
cross
saying
that all the way
therapy
out.
and psychiatry and all these things aren't, there's places for it,
Absolutely.
110%.
Absolutely.
I'm not putting that down at all. I actually have the utmost respect for those people, but not, like my grandmother always said, there's a seat for every ass.
Absolutely.
And not everyone's going to go to a shrink.
I did the spiritual route myself, for meditation and working on that stuff, probably from my martial arts background. But that's great that stuff is coming up.
But don't judge it. Like if it's coming up, it's coming up for you to heal it. So understand that remember what I said at Business with Soul Summit, we heal in layers.
Yes.
So just like so much of my healing throughout all the past decade, like I would be like, I heal and I'd be like, oh my God, I am so enlightened right now. I'm good. As soon as I thought I was so enlightened, it was like, boom, like right up the ass again.
Oh, you forgot about this.
Right.
Bring this up.
And you're just like, where is this coming from? This happened to me in 3rd grade. But remember, it's like all subconscious mind stuff. So it has to bubble up to the surface. So instead of saying like, why me? I always say, try me now. I'm like, okay, this is coming up for a reason. It's going to help me evolve and go to the next level so that I can help more people and serve more people and really just keep this ambitious movement just growing and growing and growing and becoming the monster it's going to be, right?
Yeah.
A good monster, not
a good
bad
monster. Absolutely.
My pet monster. And she also asked another question about purposeful content on social media. She said, you are the master at branding yourself. So maybe tips on building and following branding yourself to attract your ideal client avatar, and at the end, developing your ideal client avatar and why it's so important. So I talk a lot about ideal client avatar. So this is the deal. What happens is in business is everyone's just like, bring me your cold, wet, huddled masses. Like it's like Ellis Island of businesses.
Right.
And the truth of the matter is like, I don't mind being Lady Liberty, but I don't want like every person crossing into my company because they're not for the greater good of the company. Until you know who your ideal clients are, like I always say, like think of one person that you're already working with who makes you so happy to work with them. They always pay on time. They're always happy. They listen to what you say. They take so much out of what you say. They put it into play.
They believe in the product. They
believe in your
it.
product and they believe in what you're trying to do. And that's the thing. Those are your ideal client avatars. So that's number one. And obviously we can go deeper on another podcast because I want to just do a podcast on that because that helps people immensely. But I am really good at branding and I'm great at delivering content with service and purpose in mind. Because what happens is, as you see on social media right now, all these people's Instagrams are thirst traps. It's just a bunch of girls posting their pictures of their asses, trying to get more followers. And here's the deal. You can have 1 million followers on Instagram, but none of them convert into sales. None of them convert into your clientele. I might have 3,000 people who follow me on Instagram, which to a lot of people is not a lot of people, but 10% at least of my followers convert into clientele. That's unheard of in this day and age.
And it's funny because you can get caught up in, I have to use social media. I have to post today. I have to do something.
No.
And I actually said something to you one day. I got to do this thing.
Ugh.
And all of a sudden you're like, if you're not doing it with intention,
why do it at all?
And that meant so much to me because I'm like, yeah, you're absolutely right. I am going to actually put something out or not put something out.
Yes.
But I'm going to put it out strong with an intention of it's going to
Yes.
serve, it's going to
Yes.
educate, it's going to entertain, or whatever the case may be.
Every time you write something and every time you post, you have to come to the table with service of helping inspire other people behind it, or it's really not going to do anything for you. And that's when so many people come to me and they're just so frustrated. And they're like, I have to do your business mastermind, or I have to work with you in coaching. And then I will start to dissect their social media. And I'm like, dude, all you do is post selfies of yourself with like quotes from Walt Whitman. Like no one cares.
It's not going to do anything.
Do you know what I mean? You
for your
can't.
company.
You can't have your boobs hanging out and then you're like quoting Thoreau. Like it doesn't go hand in hand. Like it's a non sequitur. You like that one, right?
I like that. That was
so.
good. Joked.
Let's go deeper. Let's really come to the table with your social media to do two things. One is to be social, and the second is to serve with purpose.
Absolutely.
Period. The end. Right?
The end. Yes. Good
Jenny
job.
Ula says, I would like you to cover more in depth why core desired feelings are so important and how most that chase success are chasing the material objects rather than building the person from the inside out. 100%. So I always tell people, and I talked a lot about this at Business with Soul Summit, of how we all think that by gaining money and having a certain amount of zeros in your bank account and gaining material wealth is success. And then I know people who are millionaires and billionaires that are the most miserable people in the world,
right?
Because they thought by gaining the success they would finally fill the heart-sized hole that they had in their soul.
Yes.
And what I have to say to you is, don't go for the money, the materialistic wealth and abundance. Go for how you feel on a daily basis. If you can choose 3 to 5 feeling words, and we've talked about this on past podcasts, so go back and check out the Core Desired Feelings podcast, but if you can choose 3 to 5 feeling words, like mine are, I'll just give you a couple: unbothered, free, uncomfortable, joyful, ease, those types of things, right? And every day you can come from a place of those, 3 to 5 feelings. You are going to feel so happy and so successful, because every day when you lie your head on the pillow at night, you're like, oh my God, that day was kick ass because I felt all the ways that I wanted to feel. And the money is just icing on the cake.
Yes, the success comes before the money. So if you feel successful, guess what? You're going to attract that success that you want.
100%.
Through what you want to do, right? Absolutely.
Definitely.
That's good.
So Jenny, I hope that we answered your question. I think we have time for one more. Let's see here.
Good questions.
Such good questions, right? Oh, so, Lori Moyer Blatt says, is there a best time to do sound healing, morning versus evening, meditation, or more by feeling the need to incorporate? So like I said, we did sound healing. We didn't really get too hardcore into meditation. We did the mortality meditation, but as you guys know, I do transcendental meditation. So does Matt. And for me, I'm really a huge proponent of doing things that are the hardest things to do first thing in the morning, because what happens is you wake up and then, you hit the ground running, and then it's like 5 p.m. and your house is a mess and you still haven't showered or brushed your teeth. You're still in your pajamas. There's a little bit of like baby vomit on your shirt. And then you're like, who has time to meditate and work out and do sound healing and all this stuff? So what I always say is, do the hard things first thing in the morning. Get up in the morning, have your coffee, whatever you do in the morning as far as food or drink, have your coffee, sit in your meditation first thing in the morning. Work out first thing in the morning. Do the hard things in the morning. And then what I like to do is, because I am a sound healing practitioner, what I like to do is I like to do sound healing right before bed.
Nice.
Because that just it's like you start your day with your transcendental meditation, or your whatever kind of meditation you do, and you finish the day with sound healing, which is really, really awesome.
Absolutely.
Don't you think,
Yeah,
Matt?
it's so peaceful at nighttime. It really is.
Absolutely.
It gets you in that state of mind.
So those are just some of the questions that we wanted to touch upon today on the Ambitchious podcast.
Yes.
I want to thank each and every one of you for being such crusaders for the Ambitchious movement. And like I always say, see you next Tuesday. Yeah.
Great job, man.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.